This is the third video in our AI series, and this one's about generative AI image generation. So let's get right into it. This one's going to be a little bit more in-depth, lots more fun, so let's jump right in. So you can see here that I have some images that I've made, and in fact, one of them I used for the thumbnail of my latest video. So this is what it looks like, and I put my text on it, but yeah, it's basically the thumbnail that I'm using for this monthly investing adventure video right here. So I made this with AI, and I had 4 options to choose from, and I'll kind of go through them, but I kind of like this one the best, so I used it, but these are other options that are available. And they all look really, really great. I'll go ahead and show you how I did this in more detail. But the tool that I'm using is called Leonardo AI. And Leonardo AI is just a generative AI tool that you can use to give it text prompts, and then it'll make images just like the ones you see here. So this is the one that I use the most and the one that I like the most. There are free versions of this as well as paid version. I'm on the paid version. I think it's like $5 a month or something like that, which I think is totally worth it for what I use it for. But if you don't think you want to spend real money for it, you can try out Leonardo AI for free. Some of the tools are a little bit handicapped if you're on the free plan, but you still get 150 credits a day to make, it's worth about 10 images. So it's great to play around with, and it resets every day, so you can just keep on playing with it. So I highly recommend Leonardo AI, and like I said, I'll go into it in more detail. But I also want to give you an alternative, and the alternative is something called ArtGuru. ArtGuru, that's a mouthful. ArtGuru.ai, and it's another AI art generator, and it can do graphics art, photorealistic stuff, and all kinds of things. And what I want to do is, before I get back to Leonardo AI, I'm going to go ahead and ask ArtGuru to generate 4 images using the exact same prompt that I gave to Leonardo AI. So I'm going to paste that in. And basically this prompt is a text description. It's a vivid explosion of July 4th fireworks, blah, blah, blah. And the more detail you give the AI, the better off it's going to be. So we'll pick 4 images, 3:2 aspect ratio, and I'm just going to click generate. Now this one is pretty interesting because you buy credits to use the tool. There is also a free version with this ArtGuru AI, and you get a number of credits. I don't know if it's resets, but for this one you buy a bank of credits. I bought 20,000 for like $40, and you can see that I've barely used up 750 or 650 credits. So these are some of the results that it gave me, and we can go ahead and take a look at it to see how it compares. But the basic prompt for this one is to give me a fireworks scene for the 4th of July for a small town that's on the edge of a lake during the blue hour. So the blue hour is that time right after sunset where there's still some orange glow in the sky, but it's pretty much, dusk. And this is what ArtGuru gives me. And it's not bad at all, but it's not exactly what I want, because if you look at this in detail, it's a little bit more computer generated, for lack of a better word. Like I said, it's still pretty good, and you can refine it and make it look even better, but even giving it like the hyper realistic tag and all of that, it still didn't do a great job. Like I said, if I didn't show you the alternative, I don't think you would know the difference, and this would look just as great. So these are some of the examples coming out of ArtGuru. I think for the blue hour, it should be a little bit darker than this, but these are fine as well. And if I had no alternative, I would probably be very happy to use this. This is certainly cheaper than Leonardo AI, but it doesn't give you as much control. So let's hop back to Leonardo AI. we'll go ahead and take a look at the result it generated for the exact same prompt. And I think this one is a lot more realistic. And I'll go through and show you some of the options that you can do with it. But yeah, to me, this looks more real. It's still a pretty fantastical scene, but I think you'd be hard pressed to say that it was computer generated right off the bat, right? It looks pretty good in my opinion. And it got the blue hour like coloring pretty much spot on, because this is like right after dusk. You can still see some of the orange in the horizon of the sky, but for the most part, it's darker. You know, the blues are darker, whereas when you compare it to the blue hour that are in these images, it's a bit brighter. There's something that looks artificial about it, but like I said, still pretty good if you didn't compare it to the alternative. All right, so let's hop right in and talk about Leonardo AI. Leonardo AI has a bunch of presets that you can use, and if you give it, you know, whatever prompt, it's going to spit out an image. So when I first started doing this, I didn't really know where to start. I gave it pretty simple prompts. It did a decent job, but I started to establish a database, which you can see here, of the prompt and the example, just so that when I have an image in mind that I want to create, I can look at my database and say, you know what, I'm trying to create this look, and this is what I should start with. So there are a variety of images in this database that we can start. And if I pick any one of them, you're going to see different presets and what have you. So we'll just go ahead and make one, and we'll see how it looks. So let's take a look at this photo right here, which is looks like a Philly cheesesteak photo. And the prompt is this one, which I'm going to copy. It's using the photoreal model, and it's using a cinematic preset. So that's what we're going to go and use in Leonardo AI. So I'll go back to that. And for image generation, the preset is right here. So it was cinematic. So I'll select that. And for the preset style, there are a bunch of preset styles that are underneath the preset. And you can do cinematic, close-up, creative, whatever. I'll set it to cinematic again. I'm going to select quality for the generation mode, so it gives me a better result rather than fast. So each generation is going to take about 35 to 40 seconds. You can make it go faster with the fast mode, but I like quality over speed, so we'll leave it there. You can select the aspect ratio from 4:3, 1:1, 16:9, what have you, different resolutions. I'm going to leave it at 16:9 large 4. And then I'm going to click on this down arrow here to get into the advanced settings, because I do want to use photoreal. And then for the model, I'm going to match what's in the database here. So the database here says it's using, let me see, there are more details here. It's just photoreal and cinematic. So we'll leave it at that. Go back to the generation. So I think I'm happy with Leonardo Kino XL. So these things down here are different models for Leonardo AI. And as you get using it more, you'll understand that you start off with the preset, you go to style, which is next. You basically work your way down. You can go into the advanced setting and fine-tune things as you see fit. I think this is fine the way it is, so we're going to close out of this. And I'm going to go and paste in the prompt that I copy. So it's just a photorealistic image of a Philly cheesesteak, melted cheese, so on and so forth. If I click generate, you can see that this is going to cost me 40 credits. And I have 3,250 something, so I'm fine. It's going to reset in a little more than an hour. So I'm just going to use up my credits for the month to kind of demonstrate Leonardo AI. So when it's generating this, we just wait for it. It'll pop up by itself. I'm going to use another prompt from this when it's done, just so you can get an idea of what else is available. So let's go scroll through my database here and pick something. So I think this one is pretty interesting. This is using the photorealistic cinematic preset, but it's using a different engine. And we'll use this next. So I'm going to leave this up, flip back to Leonardo AI. We're getting on to 40 seconds, and there we go. So like ChatGPT with text-based generative AI, every time you give it a prompt, you're going to get something similar, but it'll always be different. It won't be exactly the same. And the reason we selected 4 images here is that you get 4 variations of the prompt result that you can then select and choose the best one that you like. So I think this one, the first one, is pretty good. So is number 2, although I think I prefer 1 better than 2 at this point. And this is going to sound like going to the eye doctor where they put lenses over your eye and they say, you know, which one looks better, number 1 or number 2. So far 1 looks the best to me, although 2 looks great as well. I don't like these thick tomato slices, so I think 1's still my favorite. Let's see what 3 looks like. 3's pretty good as well. The reason I didn't like 2 as much is that there's more background here. I'm not quite sure what this bottle is. And the sandwich is sitting on a board and the lettuce is beside it, whereas this is more what I expect. You know, lettuce is in the sandwich. You see more of the sandwich in focus in number 1. So number 1's still my favorite. 2 is out of the running. 3's not bad, so it's between 1 and 3. I don't know what the glass and milk is doing in 3, so I think number 1 is still my favorite. And then this is the 4th variation. Oh, now it gets tough. So between 1 and 4 is probably my pick. But you kind of get the idea of how this works now. So what do I use this for? Well, I showed you that I used it to generate images for my video thumbnail, and then I put text on top of it and all of that. And that's currently my main use. I also use it in PowerPoint presentations when I need a very specific image, or if I'm trying to do something creative, using people's faces and what have you. And I'll give you an example of that as we go through here. So let's go ahead and pick this next prompt here. I'm going to copy this. And again, it's the cinematic preset. It's photoreal, but the main difference here is that the fine-tuning model is using this albedo-based XL, right? You don't need to know what this all means, but I'm going to show you and then you can explore on your own. So we're starting off with a cinematic preset. We're going and using the cinematic preset style. We're going to leave it at the same aspect ratio, 4 images, photoreal, and this is where we're going to change the fine-tuning model. So down here where it says model, right now it's Leonardo Kino XL. We're going to click that drop down and we're going to select the albedo base XL model, because that's what this image is using, albedo base XL. And then let's see what we get out of this. So let me replace the text here. So generate a photorealistic cinematic image capturing the serene beauty of a large snow-capped mountain during the blue hour. So there's that term again, blue hour in Utah. Right, I'm going to click generate. Now while this is going, I'm going to show you another feature of Leonardo AI for image generation, where you can take a subject's face and do creative things with it. So when you do that, there's this little icon up here in the generation prompt. So let me remove this and click on this little picture icon here. And when I click on this, I get a couple of options. So I can do a style reference where I can upload an example image and it'll try to duplicate that style. I can do a character reference where it would take someone's picture and use that to create the output. You can also do a content reference. So maybe you're doing like a living room and you just want to change how it looks through your prompt. And there are more image guidance that you can select from. Some of these may not be available on free accounts. You'll see them, but you can't use them, just so that you're aware. So I'm going to actually use the character reference. I'll confirm it. And here you can upload an image, or you can use one that has already been uploaded. And you can see that I've been playing around with this, so clearly there's a lot in here. But let's pick somebody like this gentleman right here. I'll confirm. And using his face as the kind of reference, I'm going to ask it to do a picture that's in the style of the famous film director Wes Anderson. So if you know anything about Wes Anderson, I'm going to change this back to the Kino XL model. If you know anything about Wes Anderson, he likes to do a lot of colorful palettes that are, pinks and yellows and blues and orange, but pretty saturated. He's got a certain compositional style that is symmetrical, just a very distinct look to the way he composes scene and colors them. So one of the movies that he has done is Grand Budapest Hotel, where there's a lot of pinks and other cues in that movie that is very reminiscent of Wes Anderson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say create an image of this man, and the AI understands that you're talking about this character reference that we're talking about here. I'll say standing in front of a European hotel as a character in a Wes Anderson film, wearing a Wes Anderson outfit, and just to overdo the Wes Anderson style, I'm going to say Wes Anderson style. All right, that's all I'm going to give it. I'm going to generate this, and we're going to see what we get. Right, while that's going, I'm going to remove this character reference. I'm going to delete this prompt because we can keep on feeding it different prompts to do. I'll leave everything else the same here, so Photoreal, Kino XL, but this time we're going to switch, and maybe the model's going to switch too when I switch preset, but I'm going to go from Cinematic Kino to Lifelike Vision. So when you do Lifelike Vision, you get a preset that is picked for you, but you can do the drop down and change that. So let me say Lifelike Vision, and I'm going to go with, this is going to be hard. Why don't we pick Minimalist Look? And then I'll go back here and take a look at that character reference once we put in our prompt. So I'm going to use the Lifelike Vision, Minimalistic, and I guess I'm going to check Photoreal because I do want a photorealistic image. So what are we going to do? So I'm going to say a view of Lake Como in Italy with snow-capped mountains and boats on the serene lake. So this is my prompt, but what I wanted to do with this is that I wanted to show you that Leonardo AI has the ability to improve your prompt using this improve prompt feature. So I typed in a basic description, but if I click on this button and then select improve prompt, it's going to expand on that, and then I can submit this for generation, and we'll do that. And while it's doing that, we're going to check out these generation. So this is very classic Wes Anderson, and it's basically doing exactly what I'm asking, and it's giving me some options here using that man as a character reference. And I think it does a pretty good job. It understands style, so you can ask it to do in the style of Monet, Van Gogh, and it should understand that. Let's go back here and take a look at these snow-capped mountain images since it's still generating. and we didn't really take a look at this. This looks pretty good. And again, it's not exactly what you see here, but it's pretty close. It's basically variations of this prompt. So this is one variation using these settings. This is another one. And we can surf through these to see which one we like the best, right? But again, every time you put in a prompt, you're not going to get something that's exactly the same as before, but you're going to get something that's similar. So here's my prompt with Lake Como. And I think it did a great job of a lakeside town, snow-capped mountains in the back, with some boats on the lake. All right, we'll do one more because this video is getting long. I'll clear this out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch back to Cinematic Kino. So for me personally, I like Cinematic Kino. I like Lifelike Vision. And I also like Leonardo Phoenix, which is their newest foundational model. I'm not going to show that. It does things a little bit different, a little bit more vibrant and poppy, but I don't want to get the video like crazy here. So I'm going to go back to Cinematic Kino. I'm going to change my preset to, I think I'm going to pick retro this time. I'll leave it at 16:9 large. And for the model, I'm going to go to Leonardo Diffusion XL. We're still going to keep the photo Rio. And this time we're going to say a photo of an outdoor cafe in Venice along a canal, a glass of red wine on the table with some appetizers next to it, and I'm going to say golden hour. So golden hour is this photography term that basically means it's the late afternoons where everything looks yellows and oranges and gold. That's known as golden hour. I'm going to go ahead and click on Improve Prompt just because I can, and let it improve my prompt based on the rough description I gave it, and then I'm going to submit this to generate. And while it does that, I might as well just do one for the Leonardo Phoenix, which is a different preset. With this preset, there's not a lot that you can do down here. So you'll notice that Photo Rio is not even available to be checked, but you do have the option to do some other settings, but the fine-tuning model can't be changed either, for example. But you can do the different types of presets. So maybe we'll go with, I don't know, what do we got here? Cinematic concept. Actually, I'm just going to leave it at dynamic. We'll pick something and then we'll go back and take a look at these pictures. All right, so I'm going to delete this. On this one, I don't have to auto improve the prompt because the prompt enhance here is on automatically. So it's going to improve my prompt and do what it does. So let's go to the Far East and visit Hong Kong. So we'll say a busy street in Kowloon, Hong Kong, at night with a lot of people and neon lights. That's the typical Hong Kong Kowloon scene. And then we're going to click generate. And this is automatically going to enhance my prompt and give me a more expansive prompt and the results that go with it. But let's take a look at our Venetian scene. And here we are. We have a table with a glass of red wine, and it's clearly Venice. And then you can surf through the variations and see which one you like best. So there are 4 of them. And I think I may like the last one best, number 4 here. But you can see that the tones of the color here is that golden hour. It's right before sunset, the sun is low, you see the orange and the golds and the yellow, and it just does a great job of image generation. All right, so let's take a look. This is my original prompt. Here's the expanded prompt, which is a lot longer and more detailed. But let's take a look at our image and see what we're looking at. So this one is very reminiscent of Kowloon, but it's not Kowloon. Just looking at it, I've been there many times. That's not it. The reason is that the cab is not correct. I mean, I can tell you that that's not a Hong Kong taxi cab. They're like red and white Toyotas. Yeah, this is like a mishmash of, places in the Far East, but not really Kowloon. So I think this particular Leonardo Phoenix preset, I don't really use it that much because it gives me some really weird result. But let me flip back to like cinematic Kino. I will leave it at cinematic, and I'm going to put the exact same prompt in just to show you how different it can be between different presets and model. Everything else under the cinematic Kino, I'm going to leave alone as the preset, and I'm going to generate it. But yeah, I was going to end on this, but didn't give me the result that I was hoping to show. And sometimes that happens. You just have to play around with it. Although, like I said, I do use Leonardo Phoenix. It's not the one I use the most, but I do use it. But even though it gives really weird results, I'll tell you that this image generation is just a godsend for someone like me. So I don't have to go to the internet and find images. I don't have to worry about copyright issues or anything like that, buying stock photos. I can just describe what I want, and I get pretty good results. So this is using cinematic Kino, and this looks a lot closer to what I would imagine Kowloon looking. Now, I don't remember if we checked Photo Rio on this one. Yeah, we did. But this looks a lot more realistic, for lack of a better word, than this, where it looks kind of, it looks like it's someone painted it, right? Not quite Rio. So there you go. So Leonardo AI, it's a great tool. You can sign up for the free version, which gives you about 10 images a day. It resets every day. Play around with it, but this is one that I use a lot. I make a lot of images. I just have a lot of fun playing around with it, and I hope you do too. Anyways, thanks for checking this long video out. This is number 3 in the series. We got a couple of more videos of different tools I'm using, and I may go back and do a more in-depth ChatGPT one, because the first one was pretty short. It was a broad overview. It was all done with AI. This one is me speaking live, and you can see that it's a lot longer. So there you go. Thanks for checking in, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.